Hello, Facebook friends. This is Evelina Rose, and I have the privilege of channeling the Council of 12 to you. So it allows you an audience with spirit, with these ascended masters, and there are goddess archetypes on the council. They bring you some angels and archangels, and they always love to invite your highest, clearest guides to come and be with you. So you may be receiving information from the Council of 12, but you also may be getting your own messages. You may find that your guides are taking you on a journey, and just follow that. This will be recorded. You can hear what we say later if you wish. And we love to have you share the recording with others. So today I'll be channeling Babaji. You might notice the council is made up of many beings. Last week I channeled Lady Metatron, the feminine aspect of the Archangel Metatron. And the week before I channeled Melchizedek. So you may be able to experience many of these wondrous beings. Babaji, Mahavatar Babaji, called the Deathless Guru, is the being that most often focalizes the energy of all the different guides. So I'm often channeling Babaji, channeling other beings. So we have a 20-some year experience. I've been channeling these beings for almost 34 years, and it's been a great joy in my life. So if you'll take a breath, allow yourself to center, flow right into your grounding. You might create new grounding, release the old into the earth, create some new roots into the earth. And with your breath, breathe and call your light right down your core. Follow it in. Come take up residence in the core of your body and allow yourself to arrive in now. Now is where all the power is and where all the passion is. So we welcome in your higher self and only those radiant beings of light who serve the heart of love and truth, and our guides are angels to anyone here. And I ask God, Goddess, source of all that is, to encompass us in so much love and so much light that everyone witnessing this channeling now or later receives great blessings of life, light, of life as well, and healing. Greetings, dear ones. We greet you, we bless you. We're honored by your presence, and we invite you to bring your full presence to this hour, because it's an hour where you could have your most favorite guides and angels sitting with you wherever you are. You can ask for whatever healing you wish. You can ask for them to remove any blocks or barriers that get identified in this work. You can ask Divine Mother to hold you and spend the hour breathing in her love. And yet somehow, whatever is right for you, gift yourself this hour. Shut down everything else. Arrive here now, because magic is about to happen, and healing can accompany every word. You may hear different words than others, in fact, because this is intended specifically for you, and what you receive is exactly what you need to receive. So take a breath, breathe into your core, arrive in your center, and love yourself, bless yourself. There's nothing the inner being likes more than a hand on the heart, a hand over the dantian just below the navel, and oh, bless you, I love you, I love me, I am love, I allow love, I invite in love, I live as love. Love flows through me, love flows around me, love becomes me, and I become love. You know, the reason for words like this is they're very powerful. Not if you just speak them rotely, like, okay, now I'm going to say what I'm supposed to say today. Spirit goes, okay, nothing's happening today. But when you sit with Spirit and then you declare how you wish to have your life and how you wish to construct your reality, that gives us permission to really support you in doing so. And as importantly, it gives your mind permission to allow that new reality to take place in your world. You add power to that reality if you visualize it. So if you visualize yourself filling with love, and you see your heart expanding, and you see it flowing out from you, and you see that no matter what happens, you stay in a love place with yourself. That acquaints the subconscious with the change you want to have happen. And it says, oh, we got some new rules. Okay, that's interesting. If you add ritual, it even gets more attention of the subconscious and helps to shift the paradigm you're living in. So you use your hand, you bring in love, you bring in light. You feel your body receive it. You undulate with it. You let your whole inner core feel the love. Feel your grounding, meeting the light coming in. And you visualize those two meeting in your heart. And you image yourself sitting in your heart. Go ahead. Good thing to do right now. You image yourself sitting in your heart and create a sanctuary there for your presence and your connection with the divine. When you do that, the subconscious kind of goes, okay, we're shifting. This is interesting. Otherwise, it's kind of just doing what it's always done. So when you want to shift, add imagery, add ritual, add affirmations. If you want to reclaim your body, go stomp around in the woods or at the beach and just, I belong to me. And put a lot of emphasis in it. If there's anger you're moving, let it be felt in your voice. So the subconscious gets, oh, right, we have a right to be angry that we lost part of ourselves to our perpetrator or former lovers or other people. And we have a right to claim it. So now I claim my body. I claim this. This is my vessel. Only I live here. I live here. I live here. That starts shifting the inner world for you. And that's exactly what wants to happen now, is shifting the inner world, because the outer world is moving so fast that you need to keep shifting inside to keep up with it. We do want to say, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. They'll be given to me. We'll get to them soon. We love your questions. So the outer world is undergoing radical change right now. Pluto and Saturn have been doing this dance. Saturn wants to create new foundations, and Pluto's the underworld. So Saturn's saying, okay, so what is in the underworld that needs to be released? What needs to come to the light of day? And can I finally own my disowned selves? You've had those experiences, we're sure, where you meet someone and you instantly just like them. Some people say karma. Well, it could be. It may also be that they represent your disowned self. So you meet someone, they're so selfish. Then you look, where am I selfish? Where am I? Putting myself first is a good thing, but where am I putting myself first all the time without taking time for other people, without being able to hear what they say or what's happening with them? And when you look into the shadow like that, when you take everything you dislike and you look, is there some of that in me? That allows you to either come to love it or transmute it. And that's what's really, you might say, on the docket right now, is to identify all the places that you're living less than your full consciousness and love those parts. Sometimes you have to go in and you know, there's that place of, oh my God, if I admit I have that kind of place, there's such a deep grief. Because if I have a perpetrator energy, for instance, in me, then I have to admit all the places I might have harmed others, and I feel such guilt and such shame. I'm going to cover it up again and forget about it. But that's what you've been doing, and it hasn't gone away. So go in. This isn't about making yourself wrong or beating yourself up. It's about coming to all of yourself with compassion. If you've been living a life on this planet in these last 2 centuries, this one and the one before, you have issues. You have areas in your psyche that are not what you wish they would be. You have areas of unconsciousness because the society you've grown up in fosters those. Most people, there's a few lucky people who had really healthy parents. Most people were born to parents who hadn't done their work. They were born to parents who hadn't done their work. They were born to parents, and you've got generations of repression and generations of unexpressed emotions that come out in the strangest ways, you probably noticed. So that you might be dealing with your father or your mother, and suddenly they're off the charts, angry or hurt or upset or in some way not making sense. That's from their wounds. So if almost all of you come from wounded parents who are from wounded parents who may be from wounded parents, then just love everything you find in there. It's there, you might say it's there honestly. It's just what happens when you're raised in this society in most cultures on the planet. There's a few more indigenous cultures that raise children in really healthy ways. They greet them in the morning, they listen to their dreams, they guide them through their life, they help them learn how to use the dreams as guidance. If a lion's chasing them in a dream, they say, okay, now next time, turn and ask that lion what it wants. They teach them power. They teach them how to utilize all their spiritual capacities. And oh, how we wish that were true for all of you. And that's not what the earth plane's about, mostly. Mostly the earth plane is a schoolroom. It's where souls come. They create a unique childhood. They're all different. God doesn't need to do anything twice. Doesn't even make any snowflakes the same. So obviously, if snowflakes are all different and you can't even see it, childhoods are different, psyches are different, your DNA is different, your heritage is different from everyone else's. So you can give up trying to be like anyone else because you can't. If you really actualize yourself, you get to be exactly like you. You get to be exactly how the divine wants to experience life through your eyes. So the divine doesn't need all perfect people or all perfect child. That would be boring. Eternity is a long time. It would be really boring if the creatrix of everyone made them all almost perfect with a little bit of work to do maybe to get there. But instead, what's really fascinating, there are many planes of existence. So what's fascinating is for a soul to say, okay, I'm going to take a dive through the incarnational worlds. So it devolves, it's called, and it comes down through maybe it's on the 12th dimension. It comes down through each of the dimensions, starts having something kind of like incarnational lives on the 5th and the 4th. And then it comes into the 3rd. And the 3rd is where all the lessons are generated. That's the schoolroom. So it's where all the lessons are generated. You create the childhood, you create the influences in your life, It designs a certain personality. And yeah, you may think, my personality looks like a house that was built room by room by different carpenters. It does in the beginning. That's part of the design. And then as you wake up to who you really are, and that waking up happens most when you're in your heart. So come back into your heart chakra and give yourself permission. I wake up. I give myself permission to wake up to my true, authentic nature. Help me evolve back to the fullness of my being. So many people think, if I'm doing this life right, I'll get over all my childhood and I'll become this really happy person and I'll live the spiritual life and then I'm done. And then I cross over and, well, we don't know what happens then. Maybe heaven, harps, what? I don't know. What? Huh? But it's a process. So the soul devolves through many planes of existence, sometimes many lifetimes, and comes down to these that are so formative to your psyche. And then it creates lifetimes of evolution. So once you're really working all of this out, you're evolving this lifetime. Probably your next lifetimes are more levels of that. And the piece about heaven, when this personality crosses over, you're just beginning the journey. If you have actualized yourself to some extent on the earth plane, you're likely to cross over, especially if you have one of those dying times where your loved ones are around you and you just surrender. You cross over and then you begin a whole series of experiences that from here might look like another lifetime, but it's you, this you, evolving on other planes of existence. So the soul evolves through lifetimes of evolution, and the soul evolves when it actualizes itself up through other planes of existence. It gets really fascinating. So those few people that manage to cross over by just absolutely getting into yes, they tend to become luminous. If you've ever had the privilege of seeing someone get luminous before they pass, it's amazing. And for them, they just soar on into these amazing experiences of growth and evolution. They often gather up some of their loved ones along the way on the other side of the veil, help them evolve. Sometimes they move way beyond anyone they knew on this planet and become part of the higher realms. Sometimes they keep evolving and sometimes they turn back and assist people across the veil or assist people's evolution here. There's a zillion ways it can go from what you call dying. Dying is just the beginning. So if you think of a soul's dip into the third dimension, it's lifetime, 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 third dimension, and back up you go. And the third dimension is about that much out of the whole evolutionary process. So lots to look forward to. And this is why in Buddhism there's such preparation for the dying process, because it's known that it's a birthing process that then takes you on to higher experiences. So we have some questions. Wonderful. Please post more. What is going on? This is from Terry. What is going on? Robert and I have had 3 major appliances break and need to be repaired all within 1 week. And at the same time, our sweet dog was laid to rest. Much love to your grieving hearts, for we know that this dog was really important to you and to so many. This was a dog that served community and pretty much a familiar. So we understand that letting this one go has been hard for you. And you've done it with the same elegance you approach life. So what's going on is the universe is saying, change is afoot, change is afoot. You don't need to rely on these external appliances. There is a shift, a ground level shift that's happening for you. And it's deep internal in you. It's almost like externals got moved out of the way to take you into a grief process and deeper into yourself. And the question that wants to get asked is, who am I now? What do I feel? What's under that? What's under that? What's under that? What's under that? As we said, Pluto's active in the heavens right now, so it's calling you to this underworld journey. You've done so much work that you'll probably find it's more like whitewater rafting than getting caught in a hailstorm. In other words, it'll bring things up, and you'll be examining things in your world and your life, and you'll be looking at it with a sense of, oh, wow, I'm glad to get that peace. And Robert will be going, oh, that makes sense of so many things in my life. Wow. And then you want to go, if I'd only known that sooner, and if you'd only needed to know it sooner, you would have. But to relish in the discovery of these inner worlds now. You may well want to take some time to just nurture, to be really kind and nourishing and self-loving in deeper ways, so that these unresolved places in you feel invited forward. When you go into the darkness, when you go into the shadow worlds, you want to go in with love. You don't always take your light. You don't go in there and say, okay, shadow, I'm going to clean you out and clear you up. The shadow will recede because it doesn't need that. You go in like an adventurer, and you go in with your breath, and you go in with, oh, what am I to learn about myself? And then you get really still. And you breathe, and you center, and you ground, and you get really still. And then insights start coming. It's a good time to have a journal nearby. And journal and take a nap. Let it integrate. It's a good time and not so easy for you. Bless you. You are very, very loved. Do these go together? Okay. So from Robin, great, welcome. How can I spiritually help my husband, who is supporting me while I work on my sacred service? Lucky you. He struggles with long hours under an uninspiring management team above him. Your concern helps him. Compassion helps him. Give him some time when he comes home from one of those days to do a download, and then help him shift. Because it's easy to get in the chaos, and even if you're listened to, stay in the chaos. And so you can say, you know, I've really been happy to hear about your day up to now. And I'd love to shift our conversation in a few minutes. So if there's anything else you need to say, please do. Because I really care about what happens for you out there, taking care of both of us. And I'm so grateful to you. So your gratitude helps, your compassion helps, your willingness to listen, and your willingness to support that shift in consciousness that says, that's work. Now we process it. This is home. Now we step into the love of our home. And ask him sometimes what he doesn't get asked at work, like, what would you like? what would help you feel good tonight? Not that you're in service of him because he's helping serve you and doing your sacred service. He's doing what he wants. He loves that he can support you in that. So it's not a payback. It's a mutuality of caring. And it's really important to understand that distinction. When one is given more than one used to be given, there can be some guilt. There can be some sense of, oh, I've got to give back. That's the codependent triangle. If I receive, I have to give. But that makes it seem like obligation to give. So you give from less than a willing heart. Instead, just go, thank you. Oh, thank you, universe. I'm so grateful. I'm really happy we have this arrangement. I pray for my husband, the greatest of ease in his work. I ask for divine intervention to support him in having the best day he can. And I'm going to keep tuning in and finding, what do I want to give? And you give from a desire to give. There may be evenings that you've got 60 things you've got to handle to support the service you're creating for yourself. So just take a few minutes and say, I want you to know I'm here. I love you. I got a lot of stuff to do tonight. And I want to see what would help you feel good starting your evening, even while I'm busy. 5 minutes. You know, we tend to think we can't take time to nurture people because it takes a lot of time. But if you've ever watched a child, they need mommy and they get on her lap and maybe they're crying or they're upset and she nurtures them a little bit and they jump down. They don't need long. It isn't about time, it's quality of presence. And that's what he wants from you. It's quality of presence. He feels really honored by your gratitude and your quality of presence. The rest is kind of whatever else you want to give. But your love, your heart, and your presence are the real gift. Blessings to both of you. You can also hold some prayers that if there's someone who's particularly difficult in this management team, you could hold a prayer that so-and-so, we ask the divine to help this such and such person find wonderful work elsewhere, if they can be employed elsewhere where people want them and they can really go after their dreams, please move them on and bring in someone kind and compassionate to that place. So you can actually support the management team shifting as long as you pray for the good of everyone involved. That's where the changes happen the most, that you invite someone onto a better place for them if it's important to have a move on from wherever they are in your life. Blessings. From Donna, do I have any blocks that can be cleared in relation to doing paperwork? You and many others. It is crazy how many ways I can find to procrastinate, but I really want to break this bad habit. Thanks, Evelina. It's crazy how much paperwork there is to be done. So let's just own that up front. It's crazy how much computer work there is to be done and promotional work and on it goes, and how long it takes to handle things and customer service this and that and punch this and punch that, and time gets consumed. So it's challenging to sit down because you know a whole lot of time will get consumed. So one of the ways you can work with this, Donna, is to really set priorities in your paperwork. Evelina can send you a wonderful spreadsheet where you can list the things you need to do and set priorities and organize them easily. She can send that if you wish. And there's other tools. So when you get ready to sit down with a sense of, I'm going to do the first 3 things on my list. That's all I'm promising. Because if you think, oh God, I've got so much paperwork to do, well, I'll get my tea and I'll do this and I'll do that. That's where the procrastination comes because you're trying to do all of it. So chunk it down and just make an agreement. I'm going to sit down and do these 3 things before I allow myself to go for a walk or I take my nap or whatever it is your reward. So you just do those 3, and then there's some more on the list. You might go a little further. That allows you to work on the most important thing. What tends to happen with paperwork is you get your desk covered with all the things that need some kind of attention. You sit down to do what's important, but you do all of this other stuff, and it's probably not essential or urgent. So there's also a process of setting priorities by what's urgent and essential, and you do those first while you're fresh. And you might just take everything else and put it on the side and put it in a pile and go through it after you've had some success with your most important pieces that you need to do. Evelina will say, now that everyone has email, we'll never catch up again. And that's probably true, because there's more videos to watch and more free classes and more emails, and the internet's exploding with information, and your inbox is full of information, so don't even try to catch up. It isn't about that. It's about constantly, what's the most important use of my time right now? And that's a great thing to put on a Post-it right in front of where you sit. What is the most important use of my time right now? Focus on that. Do that first. What's the most important use of my time right now? Do that second. You keep taking off the top what most needs to happen. You get a feeling of accomplishment. And then it's pretty easy to take that stuff you put on the side, sort it through in a few minutes, do what you have to, put the rest in a bin and get back to it later if you do, because you'll never catch up again. So don't try. So it's, instead of a catching up process, it's a sorting process. You might get a bunch of boxes or stack trays and take all the things that need to be done and put them by priority in that way. In some way, you get the debris of life out of your way to get to what's important. So it's a priority setting process and a lot of forgiveness. I thought I was going to do that. Guess I'm not. Every once in a while, we'll have Evelina take her year's to-do list, copy the first 30 lines. She has a long list. Leave the rest with the last year's date on it and work from that. And it gets long. But the stuff that's at the bottom of the list never gets to anyway, so you could just erase it. But then that becomes, oh my God, should I do that? And oh, then I need to talk to so, and I need to da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So ignore it. And every once in a while go through, prioritize, pull out what you need to do, and either erase the rest or scoot it way down. So there's some blank spaces. So when you do things, you delete them, there's some blank spaces. You have a feeling of accomplishment. What keeps you coming back is a feeling of accomplishment. What keeps you procrastinating is a feeling of, no matter how much I do, I never get anything important done. So do the important things first. Thank you. Good question. Ooh, lots of questions. Excellent. Barbara, why and how can we change negative situations in our life? For example, I've got horrible tenants in my house. So sorry, abusing the house, but I can't get in. Can I manifest them out? This is a challenging one. Yes. The answer is yes, and you will probably have to face everything in your shadow they are reflecting. Back to that first piece we talked about. So ask your guides and your angels to help you see what in you is the magnet for these tenets. And we're not saying something in you is horrible. We're saying there's a disowned self that's a little bit like them. And when you go in and love and nurture that self, you won't need them in your life anymore. Whenever there's something horrible, you go, what's the lesson I'm to learn from this? It's okay if your teeth are gritted. What is the lesson I'm to learn from this today? I'm going to get this lesson so I don't have to have this anymore. We've had people who've had one abusive relationship after another who've said, this is it. This is my last abusive relationship. This is my last horrible tenant. Okay, guides, angels, God within me, I now get every lesson I need to, that this never happens again, and it completes here and now. So it's probably a time to get pretty insistent like that with the divine and with yourself. For something like abusive tenants who don't mind abusing owners, which there are some tenants who do this in a serial fashion, one of the best ways of helping manifest them out is to gather a group of people who have some spiritual power, to come together in a circle and to call upon the higher selves of these tenants by name, ask their higher selves in. You're not asking the tenants in, you're asking the higher self. Call upon their higher selves and ask for the realms of light to assist this circle to help free these beings from whatever chaos is causing them to live in abuse. Because what they're doing to you, they're doing to each other, and they're doing to everyone in their world, and it's a miserable world. So you can ask, don't do it yourself because you don't want to take on any of their karma, but you can ask their angels to help lift them up. You can ask the realms of light, you can ask the Council of 12 to come and dissolve any karma between you and them, dissolve any karma that's holding them in these abusive patterns, and ask for their highest good, that they be supported in moving on away from your house, away from your area, into a better life, a higher expression in themselves, into a place where they get their needs met. You see, you pray for their good. It's hard. You want to do everything else but pray for their good. So a way to prepare for the circle once you've called it, before you hold it, is to ask your guides and angels to put a big bubble of light all around you and whoever else is involved from your side of this situation, if they want to join you, and ask your guides and angels to absorb the energy and then go into this bubble of light and have your anger. Go ahead and without any thought of being correct or wise or anything, just let your rage have its day. You'll find the angels will give you a standing ovation, most likely at the end, because it clears you to be able to do the heart work that calls their souls to something better than what they're doing now. You know, the opposite is lawyers and court and all that stuff. This is operating with higher law, which is calling upon the realms of light to support these errant souls in somehow finding their way, and finding their way right out of your part of the universe into a place that either wants what they give or is better for them. So take a breath and know that you have a right to all the feelings, and you won't resolve the situation from your reactivity. Doesn't mean you have to be a saint, but it does mean you look at the feelings, you use this way to express them, make sure the angels ensure no one is harmed by it, no one outside the circle is affected in any way. That's entirely possible. You can have a whole rage fantasy in there if you want. Once you've done that clearing, then you lift yourself up by bringing yourself into your heart and activating your connection to your light body and to your connection to source. And then you're manifesting them out from your heart. Because now you're in your heart. And that's where your connection with the divine is the strongest. So it's really letting yourself clear and then let your light spiral down your center, come sit in your heart chakra and call for the change from there. So on EvelinaRose.com, it's listed on the little comment above the comments, on EvelinaRose.com is a video on a 5-minute grounding meditation that lets you spiral down in and then sit in your heart and do some manifesting. There's also a video about femifesting, the difference being manifesting is how do I get from here to there? Femifesting is now you see your future self who has this house clear and you've rented it to wonderful people. It's all cleaned up. It's all taken care of. It is in better shape than before. Wonderful tenants. You're really, really happy with it. Go sit with her. Spend some time with her. Let her show you what it's like when you're done with this, because it anchors your life in the future. And then ask her how she got there. And that will help guide you to get from here to that future. But once you put that anchor, it helps your life move there. So that's also valuable. Love your questions. Emily. Oh, hello, Emily. I have a loved one who is deeply depressed, suicidal, paranoid, and has asked for space, no contact. Whoa, that's challenging. I want to honor their request, yet I worry about their safety. Do I just let go and live my life? Or is there anything I can do, an approach I can take to be supportive to this person? The first thing is to notice your concerns and your feelings, and how if you could wave a magic wand, you'd make their depression and suicidal thoughts go away in an instant. Don't quite have that magic wand, and it's not yours to do. You can have conversations with their higher self and give their higher self the images and the information you want to give about what you'd like to see for them. You can talk to their soul. You can let their soul know, I'm really concerned. I love this person so much. It makes my heart ache to be out of contact. I want to call in light for you. I'm going to offer it to you and to this person's higher self, since I'm not allowed to offer it to this person. And please help it come in and let it help bring resources to this person. So then you describe what you'd like. You'd like to see the angels and guides lifting the veil of depression. You'd like to ask that whatever is causing their energies to be repressed, causing their unhappiness to be cleared. You ask for light to be shown in their inner world. You ask for influences to come that can help them through their lessons, can assist them in being able to be 100% present for themselves. You can vision them with angels supporting them. You can ask that messages come in through the radio, through what they happen to see online, that this video pops up with the exact words they need, that inspiration arrives in their life, and they listen. And you let their higher self and their soul know, I really would like to be in contact. Let me know the moment it's okay for me to initiate contact. And maybe you do that with a text that says, just want you to know I love you and I care about you. I honor your space and I'm available when you wish. Or it's a card, or send flowers, something that says I care and wait. It's a pregnant pause, because you're in your prayers and you're in your visualizations from them and your calling of support to them, and you're honoring their space. Sometimes that in itself is enough. We also feel this person you're speaking about. What we're seeing is there's some energy from the other side of the veil, probably another lifetime, that's really plaguing this person. And if you wanted to offer them a reading or a clearing or something to assist with that, from where you sit without being allowed too much contact, you can ask their higher self to call the angels and guides or whomever from the light can bring light to that situation. So somewhere in their soul, there's an evolved lifetime that probably knows exactly how to handle that situation. So I call upon the brightest, lightest, clearest, most radiant aspects of this person's soul to help clear what is plaguing them from the other side of the veil and this side. And I ask for them to be well guided back to their true light. Blessed be. May it be so. So, Miriam, hello. Feeling it is way too personal, but you know the man who's the cause of my sadness. He spoke to you a few months ago and was questioning our beginning relationship. You told him not to walk away from the very deep dive. Well, he did. Not just walked away, but built a wall. Deepest dive ever for both of us. Met on more levels than I knew were there. Such paradise, and now so many tears. So sorry. I don't know if there's a question. He had a mental breakdown, which he feels our ecstatic coupling was the cause. It wasn't, which resulted in his decision to avoid me, or had nothing to do with it. We triggered each other monumentally. Well, blessings to you, dear Miriam, and to your grieving heart. What a loss. It's so challenging when finally someone comes who has the capacity to meet you. There's the meeting, and it's so ecstatic and life-changing that the other goes, and goes away from it. And then what? Because now you're open and you're desirous of this kind of connection. You know you're capable of it. That's one piece of your lessons. Whoa, look what I can do. Wow. I had no idea I had that capacity. Look at the kind of people that are attracted to that capacity. So most of all, you stay in that capacity. And we would hope that you stay in a lover relationship with yourself right now. It is not the ecstatic connection that caused him to have the breakdown. The ecstatic connection offered him an opportunity for a breakthrough. Breakdowns, breakthroughs, they feel much alike. Sometimes the breakdown has to come before the breakthrough. Our sense is it's not over yet. And that doesn't mean just put life aside and wait, because that never works, never helps. But to hold a possibility that he had a breakdown, you pray for it to become a breakthrough, and you call upon, just like we were saying to Emily, you call upon his higher self, you call upon his soul, and you say, I'd really like this wonderful, amazing man to open to the power of his heart and to open to the capacity we are capable of expressing together. And you also ask for compassion and forgiveness. There may not be anything that needs to be forgiven, but you ask for compassion because one never knows how someone else interprets something. Something touched something in his past, it triggered something, it threatened to open something else, that threatened to open something else, and he thought it was about you, and it's really about him, and you get to just have compassion. Whoa, I had no idea that you had that inside you, and I'm going to keep loving you, and I'm going to be a safe haven that you can return to when you wish. So you're not calling him to come back energetically or emotionally. You're not saying, oh, you've got to come back, let us finish this. You're inviting. It's an interesting thing. There's a wonderful book that describes this way of being, and it talks about, it's called 2150 AD. Novel, but more than a novel. It talks about walking through life with open hands, holding on to nothing. And the phrase that society uses is let go and let God. You can say goddess, you can say creatrix, whatever you want. But it's really knowing that when something exquisite comes, you want to hold it lightly. And if it's like a butterfly and it flits away, you want it to be really still. See if it flies back. We think if you're an invitation without the need to help him know how much he's hurt you, then he might be able to come back. Now you have a right to your hurt. That was awful. That was really hard. You've got a right to feel that. Share it with other people right now. Maybe even ask someone to role play him so you can say it and have him say what he might say, and you get it out of your system. That's fine. Again, that's that. Put a bubble of light around you and have your feelings so that you can come to compassion and patience. Patience, it says, okay, divine, you've shown me what real love is. I will have it in my life, and I will have it in my life this year. And if it's this one, great. If you've got someone better, fantastic. Bring them in. I'm ready. I'm here. So you do your feeling work, and then you do that work, and then you really are ready, and then it's possible. It's probable, Miriam. You are ripe for this. So we bless you, and we bless the love you've had. We bless your heart. We bless the love that comes. Blessed be. Amelia. No, Annalisa. Annalisa. Amelia is my wonderful support person over here. Tomorrow's the day I survived/saved my own life. It's been a rough few years, and with a severe Lyme relapse, I've been too sick to do anything but keep my head above water. I haven't had the resources, help, space, or mental or emotional capacity to heal. No question. I could just use some extra love to get through this passage. So tomorrow is the day that you not only survive, you save your life, and you allow yourself to thrive. So we ask all the realms of light to send you love, Annalisa. And everyone here, you can receive it as well. We ask all the realms of light to send you love, and we ask the beings of radiant light who love you and know your soul, serve your highest good, to help clear the darkness from your energy field, from your aura, from your subtle bodies, to clear all karma you've already dealt with a whole lot. Ask them to lift it out, to clear any cords to others that carry some of the chaos and pain you've been experiencing. One of the beings, it looks like Jesus, wants to go down your back and pull out every cord in the back of your chakras. And he can multi-locate, so everyone can ask this or whatever guide you wish. So the cords in the back of your chakras are energy connections from people who want something you're not wanting to give, or they're not asking directly, or they're trying to take your power. So those cords are part of what holds you in this darkness. So yes, yes to the divine. Clear every cord out of my back. Clear every cord out of my chakras that I no longer need or that serves less than my love and light. And they want to clear your crown, clear some old connections with spirituality that aren't serving you. And then ask your being. We want to suggest, rather than ask your higher self, because it seems a little troubled too, go to the radiant heart of your being, like you just do a bypass. I call upon the radiant heart of my being, most connected to the heart of the divine. And I ask that you bring love down through my soul, through every aspect of my soul, and especially into me. Clear, radiant, healing light and love. And I receive and I accept. So when you ask for healing, be sure you take time to receive and accept, because it's very easy to get caught up in what you're wanting, in the chaos, in what's dragging you down. But you want to thrive. You want to do more than survive. You want to thrive. So God, Goddess, teach me what it means to thrive. I ask my guides to lift me up to a higher dimension where I thrive. What we notice, there are many dimensions of consciousness. And as we said, a soul devolves through them. It's entirely possible to be living life at a certain plane of existence, a certain part of the third dimension, and then have things happen and just drop lower and lower in the vibrations of that third dimension. So sometimes you just say, angels, guides, lift me up, lift me up, lift me to a parallel universe that's a lot better than this one. Lift me into the light of my soul. I don't know how you're going to do it, but lift me up. I give permission for everything that holds me down to be released, dissolved, made null and void. If you want the most powerful shift in the shortest amount of time, you say, Goddess Kali. Kali is the Hindu goddess of, she's a triple goddess, creator, preserver, destroyer. So as a creatrix, she's a mother goddess, nurturing. Preserver, she preserves that which needs to be preserved. Destroyer, she destroys what's destructive. So you say Kali Ma, honoring she's a mother goddess. Kali Ma, will you bring your cleansing fire up through my body? And it's like this whirlwind of fire. It comes from way below you, and she brings it up through you and through your aura, and just keep bringing that up through. As we said, the subconscious shifts by imagery and ritual. So use your hands and imagine it, and that will help your subconscious know you're done with this darkness and you're ready to thrive. We add our prayers, call the Council of 12 anytime you wish. We say this to all of you. We always come when we're called. We will do whatever your prayers allow us to do. So make sure you ask. Bless you. Blessed be. Kiara, hello. Hi, I would love to get a message about my healing business and how I can be of service to my cute new community. Right from your heart. Your healing business it really has your own signature on it. It is a deep expression of everything you've studied, everything you've learned. And when you look at, oh, how could I possibly tell the world I'm going to do that? That's too personal. That's my work. You're on the right path. It brings in pieces from all the teachings and studies of your life. And yet, Kara, your You're at the stage right now where your soul's ready for you to access some of the exalted lives where you were trained in the ancient healing temples. So your healing business is going to be you constantly surpassing yourself. You may go into a session and go, I'm not so sure what I'm going to do here. And that's good. Then you won't be doing it all by yourself. Call upon the heart of your soul. And in your meditations, I call upon the heart of my soul. I want to know. I want to be informed by, witnessed by, and guided by the highest, brightest, most evolved aspects of all my lifetimes in the healing world. I want to access my knowledge from Egypt and be able to apply it here in the 21st century. And I want to access my knowledge from ancient Mesopotamia and be able to apply it here. I want to access the magic I learned as a druid and apply it here. And I want to access what I learned in the Essene schools and apply it here. So I am offering myself to the divine and to my soul to be a repository for all this wisdom and knowledge to flow into one personality and be expressed through me. So your healing business moves forward at the exact pace that you have the nerve, the courage to claim what we just said. That you're willing to step up to the plate and say, this is the healing I do. And when they say, how are you qualified? You say, by centuries and centuries and centuries of studying healing through the cosmos, and finally in this life developing the capacity to access all that wisdom and apply it. So I could tell you what happens in sessions, except they're all different, because we bring in your guidance, we bring in my guidance, we bring in my exalted wisdom self, and then it evolves based on what needs to happen in that session. It's uniquely yours, always powerful and deeply transformative. That's really all you need to know. Then you find some words to describe it. Have some friends sit with you and brainstorm some ideas. But the heart of it is this accessing of the wisdom from throughout your soul, from its whole sojourn through the cosmos. Everyone take a breath. And we imagine and hope that these last questions, especially this one, helps you expand beyond your understanding of who you are and what's possible. Because you exist not only in this little third dimensional life we're talking about, but the whole evolutionary process and the whole evolutionary, there's no time or space. And you also have the wisdom when you're fully in the light, and all is love and all is possible. So the more you open up into the higher dimensions of your soul, the more you're available to access all those levels of wisdom. That's when life gets really fun. When you're living interdimensionally, it's so much more interesting. When you're living transpersonally, so you're not just the skin encapsulated ego, you're also your intuitive mind and your higher self, and you all the way up through all the chakras. Hardly show you, but you get the idea that you exist on many planes of existence. And when you let yourself play with all of that, it evolves you. And you find yourself saying and doing things that you didn't know were possible, but now you know they are, because now you're accessing something more than you were before. So, dear ones, we love you immensely. Spirit is always loving you. Always, always, always. If you find you're working with a guide and they get harsh, or they treat you in a way that doesn't feel right, dismiss them. Because true radiant guides are kind, loving, compassionate, and caring. That's how we live. That's what we offer. And you can always ask for someone brighter, clearer, more radiant, and always ask for the brightest, clearest, most radiant being of light. So if you've enjoyed the answers that you've gotten to your questions or you've heard for others, you might be interested in having a reading with us and Evelina. The difference is here we can give you an answer without interaction. In a reading, it's collaborative. So we share something and see how that lands, and that sparks something, and we share more, and you have another question, and we take it to another level, and that sparks other questions, and we go into those areas, and then you get to the real question, which often is about 45 minutes into a reading, and we're able to really drop deep with the questions or the need for guidance that supports the evolution of you as a soul. We love that. Magic happens in these sessions. They're a delight for us and Evelina and people who come. So you can do that by Zoom worldwide, by phone, by in person in Asheville, North Carolina. And we'll be back doing Facebook Live every Tuesday in May at 2 p.m. No promises after May. Those of you who know about the Wisdom Circle in Asheville, it's being moved a week to May 19th. You'll get a notice. And if you want to be invited to that, instant message Evelina. We also offer Codes for New Humanity, which huge numbers of beings of light in the cosmos came together in response to the Me Too movement, in response to so many fervent prayers. There's got to be a better way, and we have to shift how this species is doing this planet so we can keep this planet. So the Codes for New Humanity are a series of 7 sessions that shift the pineal gland, the pituitary, the reptilian brain gets up-leveled. It works with all the chakras in the body, the 8 chakras beyond the body, connects you to your quantum self and your quantum powers. It's amazing. Must be done in person, so come to Asheville. So we love you deeply. We bless you. Please share this with others and give yourself a big hug. And congratulations for caring enough about yourself to be listening now. Blessed be. We thank the Council of 12 and all the beings of light who've assisted us or any of you. You may stay with them, with your guides if you wish, or release them and ask them and the Council to bless you. And may these realms of light bless all beings with the light and the love they need for their highest destinies to come through true with ease, grace, and elegance. And may the realms of light bring so much love to all hearts that everyone, everywhere turns to the light and opens to love. Blessed be. So thank you, dear ones. Such a joy to channel Babaji to you. Would love any comments, and please share the video on Facebook or anywhere else. And if you have questions for next week, we love getting them. You can see it forms the channeling and makes it pretty fascinating, I think, because I think the answers serve for everyone. I also do meta therapy. It's a metaphysically based therapy that really helps to clear the past out and pull all of your soul essence into now. A lot of soul retrieval, a lot of constituting your whole being in now so you can live the life you want. So many, many blessings to you. May you find great happiness, peace, prosperity, and joy. Blessed be.